This is the second video where we're going to look at applying now the volume formula for a sphere. In the first video, we derived it or tried to understand where it comes from in reference to a cylinder. We're going to use the pi button for these. We're going to stick with rounding the nearest tenth. It's not going to be very easy to put these in terms of pi. I might do it for the first one, but you're going to notice that it doesn't even say that. And I'll explain why once we get going. If you don't remember, these were the two versions of the volume formula. We can have this one, 4/3 pi r cubed. Remember, it is cubed because also we need meters cubed because that's our units. And so the only way to get that would be to have this one measurement be cubed. And remember, it is 4/3, even though we talked that it had in the previous video a 2/3 ratio. As we worked through it, we saw that it came out to be 4/3 pi r cubed. All right, next, we only have one measurement we're looking for. And we also want to be on the lookout for that classic trick that they play on us of giving us the diameter. And so we've got this, and now we're going to get our answer. And like I said, we'll try this one in terms of pi. Not sure how well it's going to work. And then we'll also do this rounded to the nearest tenth. And we'll set up our box for our two answers. And then the way we're going to type it is just the way it appears. We're going to type 4 divided by 3 times 5 cubed and times by pi, or whatever order you want to type all of this in. For the cube, you're going to look for this button, a little rooftop caret button, or if you have the older TIs, you're going to look for a Y to X button. And so you would press 5 YX 3 or 5 rooftop caret 3. All right, so it looks like this. I'm going to open up mine and I'm going to move it over. And now I need to remember we have, 4/3. So we got 4 divided by 3 times 5 to the third. One second, hold that thought. I got to get this to fit. Okay. And so we got 166.6 repeating. And like I said, these are going to be kind of messy because of that 4/3. And then we're going to press times by second pi. If pi is blue, we got to use the second or the blue button to access that. So round to the nearest tenth, we got 523 point, and the 5 looks to the 9, and it's going to go up. So 523.6 meters cubed. All right, number 5, we'll maybe try the other formula. If you prefer to use that one, it's 4 pi r cubed, all divided by 3. So the 4/3 written that way. Don't forget exponent 3. That's the different thing, and that is very important. We also want to, before we forget, it looks like they're giving us the diameter, so we're going to cut it in half to get the radius. And we have 4 pi 3.2 cubed divided by 3. In this one, I'm only going to round, and I'm going to set it up, and then we're going to type it in. So 4 times pi times 3.2 cubed. This time I put pi in the middle and divided by 4. Whoops, actually divided by 4/3. Let's try that again. In fact, sometimes you can press this little entry button and there we go. And rounded to the nearest tenth is going to be, the 2 is going to go up because of the 5, so 137.3 cubic feet. And like I had mentioned, we're not going to do any of the other ones in terms of pi. All right, let's keep going on to the next page. This time they don't give us a picture. We're going to pick which formula we want to use. I'm going to stick, I just out of habit use this one. And they gave us the radius is 1.3. And we're going with cubic yards for this one. There's that little rooftop caret button. 4/3. Watch out for that. Last time I did 4/4. And then also times by pi. Round to the nearest tenth is 9.2. That 0 is going to cause that 2 to stay. 9.2. All right, next one. We're going to cut this in half. 12.5. This might be a good one to pause the video and see if you can do this one on your own. And keep telling yourself this is cubed, not squared. And this one's going to be cubic inches. Round to the nearest tenth, we're going to stay at 2. So 8,181 and 2/10. Oops. All right. Next one we have what is called a hemisphere. Hemisphere is a half sphere. And even if we don't know the name, but you might know it from geography, thinking about the Earth or so on and so forth. But all we got to do is take our formula and at some point incorporate a 1/2. I'm just going to put it right at the front, like so. You could also put it in the back. You could also just find the formula for the whole thing and then cut it in half, but we just can't forget that we do need to include the 1/2. And this time we are cubing 27. All right, and we're looking for cubic centimeters. By the way, sometimes I've seen people when they want to type this whole thing in, you could also cross cancel the 2 and the 4 if you want to, or you can just leave it and let the calculator do all of it. So we got 0.5 times 4/3 times pi times 27 cubed. Make sure we got everything there. I think we do. And round to the nearest tenth, this 7 is going to cause the 9 to go up. And so we got 41224.0. All right. By the way, I think you saw me do this a moment ago when I made a mistake, but you can sometimes arrow up into here, or if you see this entry button on some of the calculators, you can recall your old entry and go back and edit it if you realize that you didn't cube it or you didn't 4/3 it. If you have like a typo in it and you don't want to retype the whole thing, you should be able to pull it back up and make some adjustments. You're going to do number 9. I'm not going to show the work here, but I want to see the work, kind of like 3 steps here with a rounded answer. And I'll tell you what the answer is, but when I do the notes check, I will see that you have the work. And so your volume should come out to be 1,629 and 5/10 cubic centimeters. So go ahead and try that one. Check with your group if you have questions, and just read it carefully. This one does have a trick like some of the other ones. This one's a full sphere though.